Jasmin, good morning. It's great to be with you. And thanks for your time to talk to us a little bit about women in sustainability in the month of March, which is International Women's Day and all kinds of celebrations of women going on this month. And I'm excited for you because I know, even though I've known you with local organizations for many years, you're now working for a national organization that works on sustainability. Would you mind telling us a little bit about your new role at Earthjustice?
Sure, my pleasure. And thanks for having me, Kristin. So I am the Director of Sustainability and Impact for an organization called Earthjustice, which is an environmental law firm that is nonprofit. And its whole purpose is because the earth needs a good lawyer. And so they participate in litigation across the country, fighting for the environment and environmental justice issues. So my role as the sustainability director is to help make sure that our internal operations are in line with our mission, and that we're in right relationship with the earth and our each other. And so working with our teams to make sure that, for example, we fight in our courts to get rid of toxins out of the environment. And so we want to make sure that our internal operations also are getting rid of those toxins as well. We're fighting for clean energy. And so we want to make sure that our facilities are running on clean energy. We're at a really great starting point. I've been on the job for about 6 weeks now, and I've had a chance to talk with folks within the organization, and I'm really excited about the work that we're doing as an organization and how we're moving forward with sustainability.
Awesome. Well, we're proud. Kansas City's proud of you to be representing us with a national group like that, an important national group. Do you mind telling us just a little bit about your kind of history in sustainability? How did you get to this as a career, and what were some of the kind of important stair steps through your career in sustainability?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in Kansas City and went to school at KU. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to do as a career when I was there. But throughout my time at KU, I was able to hear a guest speaker that came during my senior year. And it was a guest speaker from the Centers for Disease Control out of Atlanta. And they talked about the 1996 Olympics and how they told everyone not to drive in the area. They shut down some roads. Just because if you've ever been to Atlanta, you know traffic is crazy already. And so you can imagine with an international event, it's even worse. And so so they did that to reduce the amount of congestion. And during the time of the Olympics, they observed that they saw about a 25% decrease in the amount of traffic, which they expected. But what they didn't expect was that they saw about a 40% decrease in asthma hospitalizations during that same time period.
So powerful.
All the other hospitalization rates, same number of people had heart attacks, broke their arm, other types of things stayed the same. But those asthma hospitalizations dropped dramatically, and even more so for youth and children experiencing respiratory illness. And so that was my aha moment where I really saw the power of changing the system so that it could have a positive health impact on a large group of people. And so that's where I started to understand the role of public health and the role of that systems work, and found the field of community planning, urban planning, which I didn't know was a profession before then, and then decided to take a year and do an AmeriCorps program in Denver, Colorado.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, exploring what piece of that story I wanted to explore more. And so during that year, I dove into like the public health side of things and worked for a health organization and realized that that one-on-one health intervention was not where I felt like my energy was best spent, that I really wanted to go upstream and work on the systems change, so that it's not up to individuals to work uphill to make a health decision, but if we can change it on the system side, then it's much easier for everybody.
A bigger lever, way more efficient. Yes.
So that's how I got into the systems thinking. And so as a result of that, I went on to do grad school in urban planning and worked as a planner for years. And while I was in
Arkansas?
Yeah, in Texas, working for the city of San Antonio first, and then worked in Arkansas. And in Arkansas was where I really found the space of sustainability, as it was an emerging word that people were trying to figure out what it meant. And the community in Arkansas was coming to the organization that I was working for at the time, which was the Metropolitan Planning Organization. And we're saying, you know we're supposed to do something related to sustainability, but we don't really have a good sense of what it is. And so so I worked with the communities in Central Arkansas to develop a green agenda for the region, and ask people what they thought sustainability meant to them in Central Arkansas, and we developed a plan around that. And so that's where I really got into the space of sustainability more, in a more focused way. And then after working there for 5 years, came back to the Kansas City metro area and started working with local governments in Kansas, and where I worked with Johnson County as the sustainability program manager, and then went on to be the director of sustainability for Douglas County and the city of Lawrence.
Fantastic. And I think you and I have known each other for a good 10 years and done some traveling together, and I've seen your little kids growing up a little bit, and it's been an exciting career, I think. What are you perhaps most interested and excited about here in Kansas City now in terms of work that's being done for the environment?
Well, I think that we have come a long way in the last decade, in terms of as a region working together on issues related to sustainability in the environment, and realizing that this is not an issue that stops at any border, and that this is the decisions that we make in one city directly impact the next city over, or the next county over, especially downstream. And so I think in the last 10 years we've come to realize that we have to work on this as a region, and that we can share resources and knowledge around these issues. We don't have to do it by ourselves. And so when I was working in Lawrence and Douglas County, that community is not that far away from Kansas City. And so we were able to make sure that we were in conversation and partnership as the regional climate action plan was being developed, because it's all part of the same economy essentially, and same geography. And so I think that's been very encouraging that we've gotten to that point, as well as when I'll be frank, when I first got here, came back to the Kansas City area in 2012, sustainability was not a word that many people in some parts of our community were willing to talk about. They saw it as a partisan issue, and I would like to say that it's become less of a partisan issue, and the conversation is no longer about what climate change is going to look like, but it's acknowledging that it's happening right now and it's impacting our communities right now. And so we've moved past the debate around if it's going to affect our communities, and are realizing that it's happening, and so we have to rally together around it.
Where do you get your inspiration, Jasmin? What excites you? What do you read? What people do you follow that really give you that inspiration to kind of keep working on a long term? I mean, environmental turnarounds are long term. They're not necessarily quick gratification.
So there are two books that I have been reading and rereading over the last couple of years. The first is Emergent Strategy by Adrienne Marie Brown. And it has really helped me stay grounded in this work and be patient in this work, and also realize the urgency of this work, and knowing that we can chart a path, but we have to be flexible and adaptable along the way. So I'm really inspired by her. She has a podcast and she's written several other books. So I highly recommend anything that Adrienne Marie Brown does. The other book,
I have not heard of it.
Yeah, the other book that I'm reading and rereading is called Braiding Sweetgrass. And
yes.
It is by Robin Wall Kimmerer. And it has also just re-emphasized the importance of being grounded in the earth, and that nature has so many answers for us to the questions that we're asking right now. And so sometimes we just need to stop and reflect and see what nature is trying to tell us. And so when we approach a problem, then we need to say, how has nature tried to solve this in the past, or currently? But maybe it might be at a smaller scale, but what can we take from that and, apply to the larger scale? So just her work is all about the relationship between and how things work within nature. And so that has been really inspiring to me. And then also, I mean, from a practical standpoint, I have two boys that my husband and I are raising, and they are becoming, super smart, curious human beings. So my oldest is 10 and my youngest is 8, and they are interacting with the world and starting to have lots of questions around their future and how climate affects them. So my oldest was reading a magazine the other day and reading about these turtles and how if they lay their eggs in warmer temperatures, then there will be females, but if they lay their eggs in colder dirt, then they will be males. And so he made the connection that, with climate change, that's gonna make an imbalance of turtles. And so what does that mean for the future? And so that's encouraging that he's asking those questions, but it also keeps me motivated. He's growing up quickly, and so just the sense of urgency to continue this work, and I see it every day. So those are my motivations.
Fantastic. Well, I could talk to you all day and we could interview you all day, but you've got a busy day ahead. I really do thank you for the time that you've spent doing this morning, and just for all the work and the leadership that you've provided in Kansas City. So thank you, Jasmin, so much. And we'll see you soon.
My pleasure.
Okay,
Sounds
thanks.
good. Thanks, Kristin.